Dan Nunes, and I work for Synactive. Synactive is the leading developer of optimization and user enablement solutions for use with SAP ERP applications. And I'm here today with our Solutions Engineering Manager, Aparna Desai. Aparna will lead the Q&A during the last segment of today's webinar. So please submit your questions throughout the presentation. This will give us time to organize the questions as well as a chance to answer some of them immediately via the GoToWebinar. So let's get started. First, I'll provide everyone with a brief summary of GuiXT technology and some of the benefits of implementing our solution with your SAP ERP processes. I will then introduce our Technical Solutions Manager, Tony Holland, who will present the what and whys of the GuiXT Developer Toolkit, which includes WS Workbench and Designer. In addition, Tony will demonstrate key features of both products. Following Tony's product demo, Aparna will address as many questions as possible before the hour is up. Any questions that we're unable to tackle during this webinar will be answered via email. Embedded in SAP, GuiXT is a customizable scripting technology developed by Synactive. GuiXT enables SAP users to make user interface enhancements without having to change the configuration or underlying ABAP code. And since no modifications are being made to the back end, any and all future upgrades are a cinch. In fact, all enhancements and customizations can be transferred to a new SAP product release without any redevelopment. Because GuiXT works across all the SAP modules, and because it resides at the presentation layer, all of your security and authorizations remain intact. Having GuiXT technology means you can simplify and speed up all your SAP transactions with one solution. Create fast data entry and fewer screens across your entire SAP system, including CRM, SCM, SRM, and PLM components. As many of you may already know, GuiXT comes bundled with SAP. And as you can see, it is very easy to find. This is a version of GuiXT that provides the user with basic non-recordable functionality. Users will be able to modify screens one at a time, which will demonstrate for them just how easy it is to customize and simplify their SAP screens. To get started, just click on the tricolored icon on your SAP GUI screen and select Activate GuiXT. It's that simple. From sales and distribution to product lifecycle management to inventory control, Synactive provides end-to-end solutions for simplifying and customizing SAP applications for any industry solution. Our desktop solution enables you to design a user interface for easier navigation. Our Office solution enables users to move data from Excel and PDF to SAP. And Web UI gives users access to their SAP database from a web browser. GuiXT's mobile solution delivers a fast, effective solution for your mobile workforce. Our offline solution suite allows remote users to create SAP transactions that automatically synchronize when a connection becomes available. GuiXT Access, which extends SAP connectivity securely via BlackBerry, iPhone, and Android, by providing a customized user interface that allows you to align specific business transactions to a user's specific roles and responsibilities. And of course, the Developer Toolkit, which enables you to make easy changes to your SAP interface without the need for ABAP or Java coding. Tony Holland will be going into greater detail about the Developer Toolkit during his presentation and product demo. With that said, please welcome our featured presenter, Tony Holland, Technical Solutions Manager for Synactive. Take it away, Tony.
Good morning, and thank you very much. Today, what I will talk to you about is how easy this is to do, and I will walk you through a few common scenarios that a typical customer would use to simplify screens and processes. What I will show you is how to log into SAP and using our Designer Toolkit, simplify the screen and customize a launch pad that will allow users to easily navigate through the processes that they are trying to use. So with that said, I will start by just giving you sort of a summary of why this tool is so powerful and important. The Developer Toolkit is designed to help increase user adoption and make SAP screens more intuitive to use. It generates a screen simplification that can be used across many touch points, including Office, PDF, mobile, and your SAP GUI screen. And these customizations are easy to make, and a business user can use the tools to do the simplifications without very much dependency or need to include IT support. That makes updates effortless and rapid, and it removes distractions and confusion and user error. So what I will demonstrate to you is how to consolidate and optimize the data entry for a number of transactions. What you get when you're getting the developer kit essentially are two tools. One, the Designer, which is a tool for business users. It's a WYSIWYG tool, which literally allows you to drag and drop, and it provides an easy interface for you to be able to create portable web scripts in a very short time without necessitating any changes to the underlying op code or business logic. And the Designer also provides users with a recording capability whereby an SAP process or screen can be recorded and saved. And the recording then enables the user to create a customized process that will allow them to see only the fields that they are absolutely necessary for them to see to complete a given process. Also included with the Developer Toolkit is the Workbench. And the Workbench is a tool for business users to create simplified interfaces for Excel, PDF, and the SAP GUI. The tool can also be used by IT professionals to do even more complex simplifications, like combining screens and multiple tabs. But it requires no scripting, and the UI is auto-generated by the Workbench, and I will demonstrate that to you. Within the Designer, you are able to record multiple screens and generate into one SAP GUI screen Excel or PDF type interfaces. Using the WYSIWYG editor, you can drag and drop to automate the process, and you can create different interfaces for different user groups. And you can modify the views and change the positions and delete fields or groups of fields simply by adding push buttons, input fields, group boxes, and images. Again, in my demonstration, I will show you how to do that. What the Workbench allows you to do is extend that user interface simplification to Excel or PDF form. So you may have users who would like to be able to remain within Excel and yet have that data mapped from Excel back to SAP or from SAP to Excel. And you can automate that process, generate the script, and create those forms in just a matter of a few clicks of a button.
Tony, excuse me, this is Dan. Just real quickly, we're getting a couple of notes that people can't hear you too well, so if you could speak a little bit louder and just maybe a little more directly into the phone.
Okay.
Great.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So what I'm going to try to cover with the Workbench is a few topics in terms of how to record a script, workflow, how to map fields, how to generate a script, how to run a script for Excel, PDF, or a standard SAP GUI UI using this tool. So a picture is usually worth 1,000 words, so let's just move on and let's look at an actual demonstration. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into a create material transaction within SAP. And I'm going to begin my workbench process by starting up Workbench, which is already installed on my system. And what I'll be able to do now is begin to record the process within Workbench. And I do that by clicking the Record button in Workbench. When I click the Record button in the SAP GUI and navigate to the SAP transaction, I will then be able to proceed through a typical create material process. So let's do that. In this process, I'm going to click an industry sector of mechanical engineering, and I'll choose a material type. Let's say finished product. And then what I'll do is select a list of values from the select view. And as I'm doing this process, the Workbench is beginning to record my navigation through my create material process. So let's go back and complete that process. So what I'll do here is do something that a user typically would do, would be select all, and maybe go to organizational level. And then I'm going to complete some organizational level information like the plant. And the storage location. I'll give sales org, let's say 1,000, and distribution channel 10. And continue. Now I'll fill out the basic material information and give it a description. And complete the base unit of measured general data of EA. And let's say material group 001. And now I will go to another tab, let's say sales org, and complete the tax classification information. And let's go to another tab for sales general and plant. And in this tab, I will fill out a few fields. And let's add one more field for loading group. And I'll go to one last tab for this process, just for fun. And that will be my accounting tab. And let's fill out valuation class. And how about standard price? And then let's save that. Okay. Now, when I go back to Workbench, that entire process has been recorded. So all the fields that I've completed within Workbench, now you see them showing up: industry sector, material type. And if I want to look at the name for these fields, I can right-click it, and you'll see the field name and the technical mapping name that we've associated with that particular field. And what I can now do is, using Workbench to generate the script, I can map from Excel to SAP, but I also have the option to change the settings so the data will be carried from SAP to columns in an Excel spreadsheet as well. So I can go from SAP to Excel, Excel to SAP. I could use fixed, which using the fixed setting, the actual value can be entered into the SAP field directly as displayed. But what I'm going to do is just simply right now map these fields to columns within the spreadsheet. And I could change these columns. Right now, these fields that are selected are going to get mapped to column A and B of the spreadsheet. And when the fields are all auto-mapped, then all I simply do is press the save icon. And that will allow me to save this file to a GVL file in the Workbench directory. Now, where this file got saved, actually, I could control through the Settings tab. And in that tab, I can tell it where I want to store these things. So I can have my template in one directory. I could have my Excel template in a different directory, and I could have my PDF template in a separate directory. But I'm happy with the directory that I'm using for this purpose. And you know, really all I want to do now is generate a standard template for that. Okay, so it actually didn't find my Excel template, so I'm going to tell it where it is. So I'm going to tell it that the Excel template is in my Workbench directory. My standard template is also going to be there. When I can find it, oh, there it is. Okay. And my PDF template will also be there. Now, these template files are files that are actually driving the generation of the script. And you know, you can actually modify those templates so that they will basically create the exact template that you would like it to look like. So if you want to change some of the style sheeting or formatting and have your own custom template, you can. But we provide you with these templates that pretty much address 80% of what a typical process would require. And I'm going to give this template a name, all right, to essentially save my recorded file somewhere. So I'm going to call it MM0 demo1.gbl and save that. And now I can generate my Excel spreadsheet, which I'll also call MM0.demo1.excel. And it's as simple as that. Now let's go take a look at the Excel spreadsheet that got generated. So I'm going to go to my Workbench directory and look for my Excel spreadsheet. And when I open it up, you can see now that the fields that I recorded have been generated in the Excel spreadsheet. And now, as a user of Excel, I can go in and simply input data that will go into SAP into these fields without having to go into SAP. So I'll fill out some of these fields: industry sector, material type. I'll give plant 1,000. Storage location. Sales org. Distribution channel. Base use unit of measure. We'll keep it EA. And material group. And save that. Now what we'll do is go back into SAP. And you can see that the screen has been customized based on my recording. But I want to customize this a little more. So what I'm going to do now is create a launchpad using the Designer as opposed to the Workbench. And what the Designer will let me do is really pretty this up a lot more and make this a lot more powerful for the user. So when I go into Designer and look at the SAP GUI, I now have the ability to actually drag and drop more functionality onto the screen. So why don't we do that? Right? What I'm going to do is actually create a push button here. And this push button is going to launch into that material screen that we just custom generated by the Workbench. So we'll call it Create Material. And I can associate with that Create Material button some icons or images just to make it even user-friendlier. And resize it, for instance, to, let's say, 25 width and 2 height. And I'm going to associate with that that particular transaction. So in M01, and drag that around in such a way that that push button will be there. And let's make some more push buttons so that we can create a similar type of process for, let's say, some other transactions like create purchase order. And I can go back into here and change the label for that particular push button, associate with that purchase order push button a different transaction like NME21, for instance. Let's make one more. A notification push button as well. and change the transaction that's going to get invoked. And perhaps one last transaction. We'll call that create sale. And give that a different transaction as well. All right, and now what I'll do is drag sort of a launchpad box around all of this. I can rename that and call that my launch pad. And I can save it. And as I save these modifications, it is in real time updating my SAP user interface. And I can continue to add to this by adding perhaps radial buttons to this that drive certain decisions around the process, like yes or no. Let's move things down a little bit. And I can add some text, so I could add help text to this. And save that. Excellent. So now I have the ability to, from this launchpad, go to the transactions that I'm trying to generate. I can also now launch the push button that will do this Excel integration. I notice I don't like the layout here, so I'm going to go back in here and with my designer, move some things around so that things look better, and save that. Here we go. And I can continue to customize this. In fact, if I wanted this very script to be customized for a mobile device, I could actually just go into my designer and change my screen layout so that I would know what type of landscape I have to work with. And knowing that, I would be able to modify things so that certain fields for my mobile app are going to fit differently on a BlackBerry or an iPhone or a tablet. And so then I would modify things so that this whole demo app that I'm going to build for my users would be immediately available if I saved it in a script that was pointing to my web app were pointing to. The same script would drive the interface for the BlackBerry or the iPhone or the iPad. So I'm going to just leave these right now as the screens that I'm using. And let's go and take a look at my cell integration. And let's pull up the MM01 demo Excel spreadsheet that I generated. Where is that? And that will cause the SAP system to begin to process the Excel spreadsheet and create the integration. And as a user, then all I need to do is enter in the data, and that would actually get processed and pulled into my SAP UI. And that is the extent of complexity around what it takes to do the customization. So that's the end of my demo. It's just a easy process, as you can see, to create a launchpad. It's an easy process to create integration, and the same script then can be applied to other UIs, just like the BlackBerry or iPhone or tablet. So with that said, I'm going to invite you, really, to try this yourself. And the way you try this yourself is simply by going to our website and signing up for a 15-day free trial. And with that 15-day trial, you will get the designer, and you'll be able to apply this to your own user interfaces and try creating this as easily as I've just demonstrated. We've got a number of upcoming events in Las Vegas. We'll be at the SAP TechEd if you'd like to spend more time with us, and perhaps bring your transactions with you, and we can work on them together. We will also be at SAP Utilities Conference in September in San Antonio, Texas. So stop on by. And thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Tony. Great presentation. And I'm sure lots of questions have come in that we need to get to. But before we do that, I'd like to let everyone know, as Tony said, about a couple of events, upcoming SAP events that we will be exhibiting at. So if you plan to attend, please stop by and talk shop with one of our technical experts. The first event coming up is SAP TechEd, September 13th through the 15th in Las Vegas. And right after that, we are in San Antonio, Texas, from the 18th through the 21st for SAP Utilities. Check out our website, GuiXT.com, for information about future events, to download white papers, success stories, and, as Tony said, even the free 15-day trial. So one last reminder, if we're unable to address your questions today live, we will follow up with you via email. Also, in order for us to present topics that you want covered, and for us to make these webinars more informative, is very helpful if you fill out the survey at the close of this presentation. Thanks in advance for taking the time to fill that out. Now let's begin the Q&A, and please welcome back Aparna Desai. Aparna, do we have some questions?
We do. Actually, we have a bunch of questions. Let's start it.
So here's a question. We purchased the Developer Suite. Is the Workbench included in the license?
So Workbench is a little bit new product. If you have already purchased a license, it is not part of that particular suite. But you can contact us, and we can give you an evaluation copy of it.
Here's another question. Also, as part of the Developer Suite, is WS Office included?
WS Office is part of the desktop suite. It is our desktop solution. So right now we are bundling it for free for the new customers. And if you purchase the licenses for the SAP GUI solution, the desktop solution, you get the license for WS Office as well. For existing customers, again, they can contact us, and we can provide you more details on the free version.
And here's another question. Actually, it looks like three questions here. Where is the screen created? How to get to the screen?
So the screen is created, or the script basically is created on the desktop where you have the developer suite. So somebody creates the script, and then to be able to deploy it to multiple users, you can put that script in a central location, and there are multiple options there as well. And the transaction that you have modified, in order to access the simplified GuiXT screen, you just type in the transaction code. So for example, if you simplify the creation of material MM01, you have a script for that screen. All the users need to do is just type MM01. Instead of seeing the native SAP screen, they will see the GuiXT simplified screen on that particular page.
Second part to this question, is this normally done in PO1, or does it follow the landscape transport?
So by P01, I'm assuming you're asking for a production landscape. This is not done in the production landscape. You would develop the solution on the dev environment, and then you would transfer it across the landscape from dev to QA to production.
And third part, link to the free trial.
We will bring it up on our page. There is a link on our website. You can note it down, and you can download the designer. It's a 15-day developer kit license is included with this trial, so you can download it from this particular location.
Okay, a few more questions here. When is Synactive going to be in Toronto?
I guess we're going to be, I'm not sure if it's Toronto, but we're going to be there for an HCM conference in Canada. I'm not sure if it's in Toronto, but we can definitely visit Toronto.
Everyone, just a quick note on the website for the free trial. We're actually missing a P on the link. It looks like it just got cut off there in my wonderful PowerPoint design skills. So it's just add a P to the end of that address, and you should be fine. Okay, more questions. Any issue using the SAP GUI for Java on a Mac with the GuiXT tool?
No, there should be no issues with SAP GUI for Java. GuiXT works in exactly the same way on the Mac machines as well.
Here's another question. Is there a limit to the number of Excel rows that can be uploaded to SAP?
No, there is no limit. There is a feature in Workbench where you can set a limit if you want. But if that number is not set, it will look for the end of tables. If you have 1,000 records or 10 records, it's going to look for the end of table and keep uploading until then.
Okay. Is there step-by-step documentation on modifying screens just like we saw in the demo?
We do have a documentation, and that is included as part of the free trial. So when you download the developer kit, you do get the documentation on how to make it work, and there are examples in the document as well, which will step you through a couple of processes.
How are errors handled on an Excel upload to SAP?
The error handling is done on the back end, similar to an SAP GUI solution. So when you upload a record, if you have, let's say, 5 records, GuiXT tries to upload record 1. If there is an error, SAP complains, GuiXT captures that error and displays to the user on the Excel spreadsheet, and then continues to the next record. The user can then rectify the problem in the Excel spreadsheet and then re-upload that record into SAP. But you can add your own validations if you want, like you would in a normal desktop solution. Make a field required, make sure the value is in a certain range. All those validations can still be added on top of the script that Workbench creates for you.
Okay, let's go through a few more questions here. Between the Workbench and Designer, which one would you proceed with first?
It depends on the solution you are creating. So if you're working or creating an Excel or PDF solution, definitely you would start with the Workbench, and that is all you need for those two solutions. For the desktop solution, there are a couple of ways to do it. You can start with the Workbench and create the basic layout like Tony showed in today's presentation, and then modify that particular layout using the Designer. Now, the other way to do it is you can start with the Designer, because all Workbench does is provide you a template, and you have to modify it anyway. So you can do it either way, but it's easier to start with the Workbench and then bring up the Designer and modify it.
Well, here's an interesting question, Aparna. How does GuiXT differentiate itself from WindShuttle?
So GuiXT, Synactive and WindShuttle are completely different solutions. GuiXT offers the Office solution as part of the complete suite. It is not comparing apples to oranges. Yes, if you're comparing just the Office functionality, then we are comparable in terms of the solution we provide. But Office is a very small functionality that comes bundled with the desktop. What you can do with GuiXT is modify your SAP screens directly in the SAP GUI environment, render those screens into the web environment through portals or web browser. You can also render the same screens on the mobile device, also on the smartphones. And you can also take the SAP in the offline mode using the GuiXT solution. The Excel and the PDF piece of GuiXT solution is comparable to what WindShuttle provides. As I mentioned, it's a small functionality within the whole GuiXT solution.
Okay, looks like I think it looks like we've run through most of the questions here. Let's do a quick check here. If there are any other questions, please submit them. Yeah, it looks like we're going to wrap up here. Thank everyone for joining today. I think everything went really well, and Tony, thank you for your presentation and demo. It was fantastic. And everyone, have a great morning, and we'll hopefully see you soon somewhere. Bye.